YouTube world, there are lots of different theorists. Seamus Golden, the Super Carlin Brothers, Fangirl, Film Theory, The Theorizer, and What's Her Videos. I wanted to make a theorist channel as well, but I wanted to do something new. I've always liked all of the theories, and I always thought it was a great idea to put all the theories together and to make the theorists become a giant community. Yes, I know that most of them know each other and that they've done compilation videos before, but I thought that I could kind of, connect all of the theories to make one giant Pixar theory. And of course, other movies and theories connected. You know what I mean. I wanted to be unique. I wanted to bring something new to the table and yet still be something that people who watch theorists will watch. And so this is what I've come up with. Please tell me what you think of down below, because feedback really helps me. G'day, I'm AJ and welcome to Theorists United. I watched Toy Story 4 about a couple weeks ago. I was actually going to make this video a couple weeks ago, but I just had so many ideas once I watched the movie and once I thought of the idea of this channel, and so I had to divide them all up and thought of all these different theories and decide which one I would start with for this video. And so this video is going to be based on a couple videos made by Seamus Golden, and also combining those two theories with a video made by Super Carlin Brothers, and little things that I found out here and there. So, here's my theory. By the way, there will be a little bit of spoilers from Toy Story 4. It really depends on what you consider spoilers. It's mainly just the stuff from the trailers. So if you're one of those people who doesn't watch any of the trailers, then stop watching. I'm sorry. Come back later. Hopefully you've all seen the video that Seamus Golden made about how the people in Riley's class and the people in Bonnie's daycare are actually the same, just in Riley's class they're a bit aged up. And I totally agree with this. If you haven't watched this, it's called Boo Goes to Riley's School, or something along those lines. There'll be a description down below. If you haven't watched it, please watch it because this video won't make any sense. Anyway, the other day I watched Toy Story 4 and realized that Boo is in the background. And this is most definitely Boo. Definitely. I mean, just look at that. It's Boo. Most of you are hopefully familiar of the theory, which was made by multiple theorists, and I can't really work out which one came up with the idea. But basically the theory was that a girl in Sunnyside Daycare looked a lot like Boo, but aged up a bit. I do agree with that, it's just that it was debunked by this guy. I'm not going to even try to read his name, blame it on my dyslexia. I am awful with famous people. I am sorry. But I actually agree with this debunk. When I watched these theories as a bit of a younger girl, I didn't actually think that this looked like Boo. Yes, she has brown eyes, dark hair, and slightly similar face, and all the other stuff. She looks like Boo. But there's also the part. If you don't know what a part is, it's basically this. The bit on your hair that parts. It stems from something like this, which is where all the hair mainly comes from. If you're not a girl or just not a hairdresser, this is going to make no sense to you, so sorry. But I'm not a hairdresser. But you can change your part. It just looks really wrong at first, and then most hairdressers and stuff can find it underneath all of it, depending on what your original part was. It's also very unlikely for a mum or a hairdresser to change a kid's part, especially at a young age. Mainly, they only change their part if they actually think that it looks bad. And then also in Toy Story 4, her part is back to the middle. So you can see in Monsters Inc. it's in the middle. And then in Toy Story 3, Sunnyside Daycare, it's up to her right. Which, to me, doesn't make any sense. I don't see why any mom, especially not Violet, would do that. But we saw in Toy Story 4 that all the other kids in Bonnie's class are mostly the other kids in Bonnie's daycare. So if all these kids are the same kids from Bonnie's daycare, then where was Boo in Bonnie's daycare? I mean, you can see the girl who people thought was Boo right here. But then where is Boo in Sunnyside Daycare? Now, I'm not saying that every single kid in Sunnyside Daycare will then automatically go to the same school. That's obviously unrealistic, even if we're working in a different universe called the Pixar universe right now. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying it's worth having a look. So I did look through Toy Story 3, all of the scenes for the Sunnyside Daycare, and I think I found her. Now I know what most of you guys are thinking. Why in the world with one of these little toddlers, which the Toy Story people just hated and were horrified that they didn't know how to play with them? Why would Boo be one of those kids? She's not rough with her toys. We saw her show her toys to Sully in Monsters Inc. and she seemed just fine with them. And I think that she wasn't that rough. If you look at this kid's in particular behaviour, she is just running with Jessie and trying to get out of the way of the other kids. Then she's painting with Jessie, and if you look around, there's no... I mean, as an artist myself, I can understand that. If you want to paint, then paint. Jessie seems fine after that anyway. In Monsters Inc., she was really good at drawing for a 2-year-old. That's one of the reasons why I really like the fact that she was painting in Toy Story 3. And then later we see her talking to a teacher, which means firstly, she can talk better than the other kids. Secondly, it means that she's having concerns. It means she doesn't like these kids, probably. She looks like she's concerned, she looks like she's explaining something to the teacher. She probably is saying that she doesn't want to play with the other kids and that she can't relate to them. So I really do think this is Boo. But the real question is, does it truly look like her? Because I don't want this to be debunked again. She has the same brown eyes, the same button nose, the same part, can't forget that, the same chubby cheek and square-shaped face, the same poking out round little ears that don't go that far down, they're just little round things. It's definitely her! And I believe this is 1 year later. So in Monsters Inc. she was probably about 2, and after that she was probably about 3. And then you're probably saying, if she's 3, then why in the world would she go to school winters for? Yes, she's not in the butterfly room, but this girl seems to be a little bit smarter than all the other kids, doing amazing drawing, talking to the teacher more than other kids would, and she also just doesn't seem to fit in with the other kids. And so it seems like the sort of thing that her mum, Violet, would do. And it's not completely unheard of, or in fact unusual, for your 4-year-old to go to school 1 year early. So here is my new timeline for the Pixar theory. You can pause it now and look at all the different things, and you can comment down below on how you completely disagree. Which means that I think that in Monsters Inc. that Boo was 2, and that was in 2006. A lot of people say that it's actually 1995, because that's when the file says that they went back in time for, and I'm not disagreeing with that's what the file says. Of course that's what the file says. But Seamus Gordon also admits that no one exactly knows how these doors work. And since they're time-traveling doors, they could go back to any time, we don't actually know. But it does work out with all the other stuff we get about like what her room was like and all the other things we get, and also 1995 and all the kids being about that timeline isn't too much of a stretch anyway. And also, she's got a Jessie doll. Now, first I was going to say that a couple days later, Jessie came to visit Bonnie at her daycare and Boo took her home by accident or just because she didn't know that she belonged to Bonnie and she liked her. Kind of the same way Bonnie took Woody home and then showed her to Sully and then went back. But that wouldn't make sense because, well, it's 1 year later. And then it could be that her mom, Violet, passed it down since it makes sense for Violet to have a Jessie doll. But I just really want to use this Sunnyside thing as like an idea that it's actually the exact same Jessie doll that we all know. You know, Annie's Jessie doll, or now Bonnie's Jessie doll. But the truth is, I don't know, and I don't have any ideas about how that could be possible or anything. So if you guys have any ideas, tell me in the comments down below. Now, Seamus did make a theory about how Violet is actually Boo's mom, and I completely agree with this theory. I absolutely love it. So, there we go. That's my theory. But I've actually got one more thing. This kid looks so much like Boo, and I love all your theorists are thinking that this looks like Boo because it actually does look a lot like Boo. So I thought of this actual extra idea. You see, Super Carlin Brothers made a video that shows that on the side of Boo's bed, there's a picture of her family. It says Mary, which if you don't know is Boo's actual name, and then it says Katie, and some undignified people. So I looked at this picture, tried to zoom in, tried to get all the best quality I could, and it turns out that it says this. Yep, that doesn't do anything for me, I'm sorry. But it does say that she has a bigger sister called Katie. So what if this girl from the Sunnyside daycare is actually Boo's older sister? Oh, that just fits in so perfectly. I mean, there's no real proof except for her looking like Boo and the fact that Boo does have an older sister. So there you go, that's my theory. Please share this video with all your friends and blah 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 YouTube stuff. I actually have a Facebook page which is called Now, you may know lots of theorists. Most of you hopefully know by now that the theory about how Boo is actually in Bonnie's daycare was debunked by this guy. It's made by Seamus Gordon. Seamus Gordon. A couple videos made by Seamus Gordon. Hopefully that was said right. I'm sorry. Seamus. I can't say it because he's English and I'm so used to him saying it. And I'm Australian. Yay. From the trailer, so if you're one of those people who doesn't watch any trailers and just like, no trailers, I want to see the video completely. So if you're one of those people who doesn't watch any of the trailers, then stop watching, I'm sorry. Come back later. But, what are you doing? Why haven't you watched it yet? But also, what are you doing?